Hi and welcome to the Wonderwolle podcast, episode 6. I'm Andrea and I am coming to you today from, sorry my voice is a bit strange, coming to you today from Canberra, Australia, otherwise known as the Australian Capital Territory. We are in Parliament land here in the ACT and my name is Andrea. Did I say that? I'm having a bad day today. My Ravelry name, you can find me, is Andy J, and I have a podcast group on Ravelry, Wonderwolle Podcast, and the show notes for this podcast can be found at www.healthykidshappymama.com. And if you're looking for me on Instagram, it's also Healthy Kids Happy Mama. And I am on Instagram quite a lot. So if you're wanting to interact with me and see what's going on in my everyday, I tend to put it on Instagram more than anything else. I'm not really on. I am on Facebook, but I don't really go on Facebook very much. So there you go. And today it is an absolutely stunning spring day and it's almost a shame to be inside. It is a little bit breezy, otherwise I probably would have sort of tried to go outside and record, but it's a stunning day. And sorry, the cat has just jumped down off the windowsill and wants to come and say hello. And it's been like that all weekend. It has just been the most amazing weekend here. Sunny and warm, and it's just, I feel like I've had an entire winter's worth of vitamin D over this weekend, and my head feels clearer and I just feel happier. And I think for anybody who says that seasonal affective disorder, which is where people get a bit down and unhappy during winter, the winter months, where it's a bit cold and dreary, then they've never experienced it because, ow, sorry, the cat just dug her claws into me. Yeah, because it's not that fun for me in winter. But I keep telling myself it's only 3 months and we can get through this. So this week's episode, I haven't been out and about very much this past couple of weeks. It's been quite a busy couple of weeks. We've had parties and people visiting and all sorts of things. So we haven't really been out very often, anywhere of note at least. So I haven't got any out and about video for you this week, but I do have finished object and I have a new project on the needles, and I have a couple that are very close to being finished, so that's a bit exciting. And then we have some stash acquisition. I went a little bit nuts this past couple of weeks, and I think I'm going to have to put a little bit of a stop on the purchasing of things for a while because it's out of control, really. I just don't think I'd be able to knit that much in forever, maybe. It would take me a very long time. You can see, if you're a regular viewer, that my camera is in a slightly different position today. No reason or rhyme for that, just where I happen to balance the boxes that I balance my little camera holder on. And up behind me here is my little pin board, which I keep all sorts of goodies on. Some art that I've done. I've dabbled in watercolor for a little while, and things that the boys have given me and that kind of thing. And then up here on the shelves behind me is my knickknacks for sewing and crochet needles and double pointed needles and that kind of thing. And this little table here is my cutting table. It's only very small. If I need to cut anything big like a dress or something like that, it would have to be done on our dining table. But it does for cutting small things when I need to and I don't want to go down the other end of the house. So yeah, you've seen the most exciting part of my craft room. The rest of it is literally just a bedroom. I get sort of one wall where all the crafty things are kept, and then the rest is a spare room. And so if we do have people come to visit, I would pack away the majority of the crafty things and put them in the closet, and then the rest of the time it just lives out because I use it daily. So let's get going with the knitterly things. You can see around my neck I'm wearing my For the Love of Rainbows shawl. For the Love of Rainbows is a pattern by Mina Phillip of the Knitting Expat podcast, and I test knit this for her. And as you can see, it's finished and I think it's very beautiful. It's knit out of some Knit Picks yarn, Knit Picks Stroll in the Amethyst Heather colorway, and this is the purple. And then this one here is, oh, one moment, there was just a big bang in my living room. Sorry about that. It's always a bit disconcerting when you are at home by yourself and there's suddenly a very loud bang. It was just my handbag falling off the kitchen table. Nothing to worry about at all. So yeah, this one here is Knit Picks Chroma in the Sugar Cookie colorway, and it's a singles yarn. And I have to say, and there is nothing wrong with this yarn at all. I actually enjoyed knitting with it, and it doesn't fuzz up too much. But I find a lot of the singles yarns out there do fuzz quite a lot. So I'm trying to avoid knitting with singles yarns mostly. But that was just in my stash because I think I got it for free off of Knit Picks, and it was nice to be able to use it. And I think that yarn actually lends itself really, really nicely to this shawl pattern. So here you go. It's large. Mine is probably a bit larger than Mina's because I did make a little error. It's not a noticeable error. It's you can see here I accidentally did 2 repeats of the solid section here instead of 1. And of course that's made the shawl deeper this way where the point is, and a little bigger as well. And I don't mind, to be honest. I really like the length of it, and it's really cushy and lovely. And I really like the Stroll fingering yarn. It's really, really nice. And I'll be definitely knitting with that again. So yeah, overall, excuse me, very happy. I'm just going to have a little drink. I've got a drink over here. Sorry, just don't mind me and my Diet Coke. Sorry. That's much better. Yeah, I'm very happy with it. It did take me a bit longer than I hoped it would. And I think that it was just because of the time I had available to knit. And I found, and this is probably just me, it's got nothing to do with the pattern, I found that this netting lace section here quite time consuming, especially at the very beginning. And it might have just been me getting into the rhythm. And I did change needles about 2/3 of the way through as well. I changed to, I had it originally on my Knit Pro Nova interchangeables, and then I changed it to a fixed circular needle from an Addy Lace fixed circular needle, and they are slightly pointier, I think, and it was so much easier to knit when I changed to the slightly pointier needles. So I think from now on, for lace work of any description, I'll be using slightly pointier needles. So I'm very happy with that, and I'm glad to have it finished. You can see last week I talked about my little error, and that's it there. I did not do the most brilliant job of grafting, but I don't really mind, to be honest, because only I will know that it's there and it's a shawl for me. So, and unfortunately that little situation was unavoidable with the yarn having the knot in it. So that's my For the Love of Rainbow shawl. Yay, it's finished. Okay, so I haven't got any other finished objects. I've got some close to finished objects. And I'll start with my little gloves. I've got them in my little travel knitting bag, and this is a tiny bag. It's a sock sized knitting bag, and it's really squishy. You can squish it right down, and it's great for putting in my handbag. I love this bag for going out places, usually to work. So I'm nearly finished on my Drops Fable mitts. I just have about 3 rows and a bind off to go on this one here, and then knit the thumbs. I am going to have to do a little bit of work on, you probably can't see, but there's quite a bit of laddering there, and I'm going to have to sew that up a bit or something when I finish them. But yeah, I really should just get on and finish those, because it's only going to take me like less than an hour probably to finish them. And that has used probably half a 50-gram ball of Drops Fable. So I still have yeah, about 25 grams left, and I have a whole nother ball. So I think I might make some socks with a contrast heel and toe with the rest of this, just to see what it's like as a sock yarn. So that's the first thing that's nearly finished. And then I've made some serious progress on my Fildar Folk socks. So last time I showed these socks, I only knit just past the heel on the first sock. And now I have finished, oh, what's going on here? I've finished the first sock all bar the Kitchener. I haven't done the Kitchener on the toes yet, because I'll just do them both at the same time. I've just got them on some little holders, a pin. That's a kilt pin. So that's the first one, and once I put my mind to it, it just flew by. I can't remember the name of the pattern that I used, but it's just knit 1 round and then knit 6, purl 2 the next round all the way, except for the heel and the foot, under the foot. So that's the first one finished, and this is the second one. I'm just on the heel flap. I've got maybe 2 rows left on the heel flap before I turn the heel, and so that will get finished this week too. But the reason I haven't finished it is because I'm more interested in knitting on my new project, which you will see in a moment. So I'll put this away. So my new project is my Rose Garden shawl, which is a shawl by Christina of the Christina's Knitting Catch-Up podcast, and it's called the Rose Petal Shawl, and I've only got black and white printout there, but you can go and check it out on her. I'm knitting this in a Knit Picks gloss fingering yarn. It's the Velveteen colorway, and I am really impressed with this yarn. When I got this yarn from Knit Picks, which I probably bought just to increase my spend so that I could get free shipping, I didn't think all that much of it. I thought it looked a bit meh. I didn't like the way that the twist looked. But you can't judge a book by its cover, and this is just such a nice yarn to knit with. I want to make a cardigan out of it. It's so just lovely. And here we go. I have knit just past the second lace flower motif repeat. I'm going to make this shawl a bit bigger than what Christina has recommended in the pattern. I think at this stage, I'm either going to do another single row here on the next repeat and then do a row of 3 to finish before I bind off with the picot edge, or I will finish off this bit and then go straight into a row of 3 of the lace pattern. But I'm just kind of waiting to see how big it gets. I only have I've only got, this is my last ball. This was first ball. I only had 2 balls, so this was the first ball, and I've just this morning joined on the second ball, and we'll see how I'm going for yarn. I can always order more if I run out because it's knit picks, but we'll see how we go, I think. So I'm really enjoying this, and it's mostly because of the yarn, but also because the pattern's really easy to memorize, and you can just pick it up and knit on it, and you're knitting on something that's interesting, and it's lace-ish, and it's also has this feeling about it that it's going to be this beautiful, warm and squishy shawl, and I am so looking forward to that. Not to wear straight away, but to wear in autumn next year when it's getting cooler again. And I wear shawls and scarves to work nearly every day, so it's going to be so nice. By the time I get to autumn next year, I will have a whole selection of new shawls and scarves to wear. So I'm really happy with that, and at the rate I'm going, this will be finished next week. Yay! So that's 3 things on the go. They're the things that that's what I've been knitting on this week, or this last 2 weeks. I haven't been, and my For the Love of Rainbows shawl. So I've been trying to be a little more monogamous with the knitting projects, and rather than picking up a different project every other day. Oh, actually I do have one more thing. It's right at the bottom of my knitting basket here, covered with running magazines, because one of my friends is trying to convince me to run a half marathon next year in April, and I'm still contemplating. I've done a half marathon before I had children, mind you, but I have done a half marathon before, and I did enjoy it, and I do enjoy running once I get into it. It's the getting into it bit that I don't enjoy. Once I'm in the habit, it's all good, and I could probably do with getting back in the habit of running, to be honest. So I am seriously contemplating it, but we'll see. So the other project that I started, and started is just an overstatement perhaps, this week, is the Phoenix hat by Sally Jane Cameron of the Pink Hair Girl Knits podcast. Now, I bought this pattern because of Yarnder Woman's charity cal, and it's the money that the hat pattern goes to a Burns unit in South Africa, so that's a good cause, and so I purchased it. And I went and purchased this this skein of, sorry, it's all tangled up in my glasses, this skein of yarn, which is Fildar Folk, and I can't, the colorway, it says it's 100 granate, but I can't find it on Ravelry anywhere. So it's a sock yarn, Fildar Folk 100, and yeah, I can't find it on Ravelry, but I thought it would be good for that particular pattern because the variegation in the yarn is not too much, but it's still interesting. And it's all tangled up. This is how far I got. I'm 50 stitches into the cast on, and it is a German twisted rib cast on, and I've not done any. My preferred cast on method is a long tail cast on, and I don't really like deviating. I've tried to do the, what do you call it, provisional cast on before, and I can do it, but it takes such a long time that I don't really like doing it. This is very similar to the long tail cast on, and I don't have a problem with it. It's just that it hasn't been high on my list of priorities. So I will probably get to that a little more this week after I finish those gloves. So that's another new project on the needles, literally only just. And what next? Acquisitions. So it's been a fun week for the mail. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen that I got a package, or 3 packages all on the same day, which was like Christmas. It was so much fun to open all of those and to see all the yarn that I bought in person. I am not going to show all of it today because some of it is a bit boring. So I'm going to show the more interesting ones. And I got a swap package. I was participating in this Instagram swap, and I received a swap package, and my swap partner actually watched one of my episodes, and it was the episode where I was talking about knitting with cotton yarns and saying how it's hard to get nice cotton yarn. Well, yeah, cotton yarn for making dishcloths, basically, out of here in Australia. And so she sent me some of the Lily Sugar and Cream cotton dishcloth yarn, and I was excited because this is really hard to get in Australia. So I'm looking forward to knitting up some dishcloths with this, and this one's really pretty. This one is, I can't see. This one's called Psychedelic, and this one's called Moon Dance, and they're both really lovely. So that was a bit exciting. I enjoyed getting that package in the mail. And then I got a Knit Picks order, and in my Knit Picks order I had some bamboo cotton blend to make a cardigan. Oh, sorry, no, a pullover, a sweater, as you would say, the American people would say. And I got some grey yarn, which I am going to use to make a colour affection with. And I also got this Malabrigo lace, and this is the Polar Morn colourway, and this is quite lovely. I have a plan, and it's a singles. Yeah, it's a singles yarn. Yeah, I tell you, I buy them all the time without even realizing that I'm buying singles yarn, and I don't have a real problem with them. But yeah, I have a plan. I think the shawl I want to make out of that is called Circumnavigate, and so it's more of a summery sort of shawl. So that's the plan for that one. And then I bought, so the second order that arrived that day was an order from an Etsy seller called Aussie Farmers Market, and that was this one here. And it's a really beautiful dusk pink, and it's an MCN, and it is 100 grams, 4-ply fingering, 80% merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon, machine washable, 400 meters. And I bought this originally to make the Rose Garden shawl with, and then when it arrived, I didn't want to, and I don't really know why. I might make a canopy shawl with this by Melody of the Mandarins podcast, but I'm not 100% sure. I think this yarn's really squishy and lofty, and I just didn't think that it was the right yarn for the Rose Garden shawl. Having seen Christina's version in person, I just didn't think it was the right yarn. So I put that aside for something else. Don't know what yet. And then I bought another skein of merino cashmere, mainly because I just wanted to see what an MCN yarn was like. I hadn't tried any MCN yarns before. And that's this one here. And it's a skein merino cashmere. So there's no nylon, although it's called sock. And this colorway is called Pearl, and it's a very dusty blue grey. It's coming up on the camera there more grey than what it is in real life. And I just happened to buy 3 skeins of yarn. 3? Or was it 2? Well, 3 if you count the merino, the Polar Morn. They're so similar. Oh, they're not. Oh yeah, look at that. They're so similar. This one's a bit more blue. But yeah, I just happened to buy 2 very similarly coloured skeins. And I don't have any plans for this one yet either. But I was surprised by the difference, because they're both, these 2 yarns are both merino cashmere. But this one is so fluffy and lofty, and this one is really smooth. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how these 2 knit up, and the difference between them, the both of them, whence they are knit up. So those 2 purchases. And then I had another Etsy order arrive today, and I went and picked it up from the post office just before I got home, and it's not even unwrapped yet, and this might be noisy. And this is from Etsy seller called Miss Click Clack, Australian based in Victoria. There's a rubbish truck going outside my window, so if you can hear a truck, that's what it is. And it came all cutely packaged. Like I said, this is not even unwrapped yet. And it's got this cute little hashtag, and I don't know if you can see it there. It says, "I always want more Miss Click Clack," which is very cute. And I don't know if I can, I'll try and get it out. Oh, it's very soft. So this is like a navy colour. And it's called Merry Creek Sock Yarn. And the colourway is called Vincent. And it's an 80-20 merino nylon. And Miss Click Clack Yarn, some of them on her store, she does not post internationally. And I'm not 100% sure why that's the case. But I think this base might be one of them. And I bought this one with a purpose in mind, but I don't know if that purpose will be what it ends up being in the long term. And the purpose for this yarn was to go with this skein. Oh, look at that, it's beautiful. To go with this skein here of Wonderwolle Crazy Zauber Ball, and to make either a Phi or a Therapy shawl. And that is going to be gorgeous, I think. Look at that. And then the second skein of yarn, which I bought from Miss Click Clack, is also unopened. And this one is called Blackbird. And it's like a really dark graphite colour. It's the same base, merino nylon. And it's about 112 grams. So it says 374 meters per 100 grams. So there's probably just a little over 380 meters. And it's quite dark. It's definitely more of a very dark grey than a black. But that's okay, because I have this has a plan too. And there's a shawl on Ravelry that somebody else has made. It's a Colour Affection, and it's made with a red, a black coloured, or it's called graphite too, actually, on it's hedgehog fibres sock base. And I wanted that so badly to make the same shawl, but with a slightly different colour in the bright colour combo. And it was just, the exchange rate just makes it completely out of reach right now. So when I saw this on her Etsy shop, I was like, oh, that's probably going to do the same job. It smells a bit funny, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put that with, not that one, this grey, and the Three Irish Girls Adorn sock, and make a Colour Affection. And I think that's quite nice. The original shawl used this red, and that's quite nice too. Oh, now I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do now. Red or pink? You guys tell me. I need help. So that's it. And I think that will have to be it on my yarn buying for a while as well, because I sort of feel like I have enough to keep me going for quite some time. And it will only be if I see something that is like oh my god, I have to have that, or the exchange rate goes back to somewhat normal, or I get an absolute urge to make a particular shawl and I have to buy that yarn right now, because, you know, I sometimes get a bit like that, but we all do, don't we? And the other thing, I actually did buy something else this week, and don't worry, my bank balance is definitely showing that I have purchased lots of things this week. The other thing I bought this week was a, no, the word's just gone out of my head. Swift, a yarn Swift. And I really wanted to buy the wooden one of Knit Picks, but I just don't have the room or the space. And I use this room as a multi-purpose craft room. It's not just a storage of knitting objects room. And the desk where I do my yarn winding is used for lots of other things. It's my sewing table. I'll use it to do, if I'm making stitch markers, I'll use it to make stitch markers. Or if I'm drawing, I'll use it to draw on. So I didn't want to have my yarn Swift up all the time. And this one came in a little, I just bought it at a local yarn store, and it came in a little box thing where it sort of packed down into this little plastic box. I can't actually get it back into the box the same way that it came out, but that doesn't matter because it mostly goes back into the box. It's just the lid part that I can't get back on. So that's what I have purchased this week, and I have to say I've really enjoyed having this the Swift. It has made the whole process of caking up skeins of yarn so much better. I used to avoid what project I would knit next because I didn't I didn't want to wind the ball by hand. So if I didn't have a ball wound by hand and I didn't feel like winding a ball by hand, that would pretty much define what project I would knit next. I have a few things in mind to start next, and one of those is a little summer cardigan, a short sleeve cardigan. So hopefully I'll get that started this week and I'll have some of that to show next week, next fortnight. I haven't really been doing much pondering this week. Normally I would have a little section where I've been contemplating something or other to do with knitting. But not this week. I really haven't. I've been really just focused on, I've been task orientated, I think that's how you would say. Very task orientated, and I haven't really been letting my mind wander off into contemplating philosophical things about knitting. Although I did spend a good time last night playing with my technique. I knit continental, and it fascinates me, utterly fascinates me, how other people knit. And everybody's got their own just slightly different technique. And I was watching Christina, I had coffee or lunch with Christina on Friday last week, and I was watching her knit, and she was just sitting there at the lunch table after we'd eaten, knitting, like, and I have to look. I can't not look. I mean, that's not true. I can not look, but I have to sort of glance down every now and again. I can't just sit there and knit by feel. And she knits more in the English way, so bringing the yarn around and holding it in her right hand. And I knit, yeah, it's all very left hand based. But I was watching a couple of YouTube videos last night. One of them is by Felicia of the Craft Sessions on getting faster with knitting, and she goes through all the different techniques. And I did sort of manage to get a bit of a flicking, not so much flicking, but using my left hand to hold the yarn. Because I figure if I'm ever going to do colourwork knitting, I'm going to have to learn how to have both hands controlling the yarn. But I'm not very good with this hand. I have trouble controlling the tension in my fingers. And I think that is probably just a muscle memory thing. So it might come in time and with practice. But I'm never knitting anything that's basic enough to just practice holding my yarn in the other hand. And I think I need to make like something in the round that is just all knitting, so that I can just practice getting that finger memory, muscle memory happening with my right hand. So it is interesting to test your brain a little in that way by looking at different methods of holding the yarn and figuring out how you actually do the style that you use to knit with. So that's really the only thing I've been pondering this week. I haven't really been doing much else. I've been enjoying the new season a fair bit, been outside, and I'm desperate to get into my garden and get the veggie patch going for the spring and summer. So that probably is on the cards for this coming weekend. And of course, all of those things lead to less time for knitting, but that's okay. I think it's good to have some balance. I get a sore little finger from doing that. I'm just holding it like that. So when I hold the needle, I hold a lot of tension, not yarn tension, but just put a lot of pressure on my little finger. And yeah, it hurts. Like an RSI sort of hurt, I think. So it's good for me to do other things every now and again and give the muscles and that a break, I think. But I was talking to a friend, a girl that was in our workplace actually she was doing some work experience in occupational therapy, and she was doing a talk about elements of occupational therapy. and she and I had been talking about knitting, and I'd said to her, you know, how much we take the smallest parts of our body for granted, and hands is one of those things, because now that I have this knitting bug, I would be just quite devastated, I think, if I had something happen and I couldn't use my hands as much as I've become accustomed to. And you don't realize, I think that week earlier I'd cut a finger in the washing up. I think I'd cut my finger on a knife, and it's a finger that I didn't think that I used, but then when I'd gone to knit after bandaging it up, I realized that I actually used that finger more than I think I do. And then, you know, you get thinking about how you take these things for granted, and so I think I'm becoming a little bit protective of my hands. And whereas once I would have gone and done digging in the garden and not worried about putting on gardening gloves, I think that I will be going out and buying extra heavy duty gardening gloves now, so that I protect those delicate fingers for the craft that we use our hands for. And I'm actually going to try and get one of my friends to come on the podcast over the next few weeks. I'm not sure. It'll just be a matter of us getting our schedules together to record. But she her children go to a Steiner school, and in the Steiner school philosophy, handwork is very important. And I was going to get her to come on and talk a little bit about how the children at the Steiner school, and how she does handwork with her children at home, because she does quite a lot of work with her kids around yarn and fibre arts. So that might be something interesting for a few weeks' time. I've had a busy week, but I can't tell you what I've been doing, because I don't really know. It's just one of those weeks where the kids have had soccer presentations, and I have a friend who's moving to France for a year and on a work placement, and she had a farewell party, and then we had friends over for lunch yesterday, and they're the type of friends that you just sort of hang out with and go for a nice long walk in the sunshine after lunch, and you come away feeling all relaxed after that big weekend. And yeah, I can't think what else we've done this past week, to be honest. I didn't go to Knitters Guild this week because I had too much on this weekend. So I might leave it off there. This has been a longer episode than I expected it would be this week. Hopefully next time I might have some out and about. We have a rather special festival going on in Canberra this month, and I would like to go and do some filming there, and maybe part of next fortnight's episode. It's just a matter of finding the time to go, and it's going to be school holidays again soon, so I'm going to have a few days off. That'll be nice. And it's always nice to have that little break, even if it is with kids at home. And yes, so hopefully next week some more finished objects, and I hope that you have a really great fortnight and have the chance to do some fun knitting on things that you are enjoying. And I hope that you can craft yourself some happiness over the next couple of weeks. I'll see you all in 2 weeks' time. Bye.